How do we build mental strength in a world that constantly presses on us from every direction, often without warning and without pause? Today, mental strength is no longer something reserved for monks, philosophers, or people who appear to have their lives perfectly together. It has become a daily survival skill, especially in a society where many Americans are quietly carrying heavy burdens. Chronic work stress, rising living costs, job insecurity, student debt, loneliness despite constant online connection, strained family relationships, unhealed trauma, anxiety about the future, and a deep sense of exhaustion that comes from always needing to perform, prove, and compare. In this environment, it is easy to feel emotionally overwhelmed, reactive, or disconnected from oneself, which is why learning how to develop a strong and stable mind is so essential. To understand what mental strength truly means, it helps to reflect on a teaching of the Buddha, who said that a wise person is like a solid rock, unmoved by storms. Just as a rock is not shaken by fierce winds, a wise mind is not shaken by praise or blame. When we translate this ancient wisdom into modern life, we begin to see that those storms are no longer just natural forces, but daily experiences, such as criticism from a boss, rejection in relationships, harsh comments on social media, financial setbacks, health challenges, or moments when life does not unfold the way we hoped or planned. Therefore, mental strength does not mean avoiding hardship or pretending that pain does not exist. Rather, it means developing an inner steadiness that allows us to remain grounded even when external circumstances are unstable. Life itself moves in waves, much like the ocean. There are periods of calm, clarity, and joy, followed by moments of turbulence, uncertainty, and loss. And according to the Buddha, there are 8 unavoidable experiences that every human being must face: praise and blame, gain and loss, fame and disgrace, happiness and suffering. No amount of success, wealth, intelligence, or spiritual practice exempts us from these cycles. And once we accept this truth, we can stop fighting reality and start building resilience. Acceptance, however, does not mean passivity or resignation. It means recognizing that ups and downs are part of being human, and that our task is not to control life itself, but to learn how to relate to it wisely. From this understanding, mental strength begins to grow when we learn how to stay emotionally balanced during both success and failure. Because being praised one day and criticized the next is inevitable, yet allowing either to define our self-worth creates suffering. In practical terms, when someone criticizes you, blames you, or misunderstands you, something that happens frequently in high-pressure workplaces and emotionally strained relationships, the key is to turn inward and observe what is happening inside your mind and body. Instead of immediately reacting with anger, defensiveness, or self-judgment, you can pause and notice the emotions that arise, such as fear, shame, or frustration, without letting them control your behavior. This ability to observe without being carried away is mindfulness, and it is one of the most powerful tools for cultivating inner peace in a world that constantly pulls our attention outward. Many people today feel emotionally on edge, easily triggered by news cycles, political tension, social media debates, or personal disappointments, and this chronic reactivity slowly erodes mental health. Mindfulness, by contrast, creates a small but vital space between stimulus and response, allowing wisdom to replace impulse. Closely connected to this practice is resilience, which is often misunderstood as toughness or emotional numbness, but in reality means the ability to fall, feel the pain, and then rise again without losing oneself. A resilient mind understands that suffering is not a personal failure, and that setbacks do not define one's worth or future. One of the most practical foundations of resilience is learning to clearly distinguish between what lies within your control and what does not, because much of human suffering comes from trying to control things that cannot be controlled, such as other people's opinions, behavior, or emotional states. For example, if someone criticizes you at work, spreads negativity online, or projects their frustration onto you, their words and intentions are outside your control, but your response is always within your control. In that moment, you have a choice: to absorb the negativity and carry it with you all day, to react with anger and escalate the conflict, or to protect your inner peace by choosing not to engage emotionally. This moment of conscious choice, however brief, is where true mental strength reveals itself, because it shows that you are no longer a prisoner of automatic reactions. Moreover, when you remain calm and centered, you are far better equipped to solve problems effectively, since panic and emotional flooding narrow perception, while calmness allows clarity and perspective. Many people identify so strongly with their problems that they begin to believe they are the problem,
asking themselves, "What's wrong with me?" or "Why does this always happen to me?" But this identification creates unnecessary suffering. Problems are experiences, not identities, and they are temporary by nature. When you step back emotionally, you can begin to ask more constructive questions. Why did this situation arise? What patterns are involved? What can I learn from this? What is one small step I can take to improve the situation? This problem-solving mindset transforms adversity into growth and prevents despair from taking root. Ultimately, however, no mental strength is complete with self-compassion, because a mind that is harsh, critical, and unforgiving towards itself will always remain fragile beneath the surface. Self-compassion means treating yourself with the same understanding and kindness you would offer a close friend during a difficult time, and it means refusing to carry the emotional burdens that others attempt to place on you. When someone approaches you with anger, bitterness, or unresolved pain, you can silently remind yourself, "I choose peace, I respect myself, and I do not need to accept this negativity." This is not avoidance or weakness, but emotional maturity and self-respect. A simple daily practice can support this mindset. Each morning, before checking your phone or engaging with the world's demands, take a moment to remind yourself that no matter what happens today, you will treat yourself with care and patience. Just as physical trash must be taken out regularly to prevent decay and foul odors, emotional negativity must be released daily, otherwise it accumulates and poisons the mind. Many people walk through life carrying years of unprocessed anger, resentment, and self-blame, wondering why they feel heavy and exhausted, when in reality they have simply never learned how to let go. In the end, true mental strength is not loud, aggressive, or rigid. It does not announce itself through dominance or emotional suppression. Instead, it is quiet, steady, and deeply rooted, showing itself in the ability to remain balanced through praise and blame, resilient in the face of loss and uncertainty, clear-minded during stress, and gentle towards oneself during moments of failure. When you cultivate stability, resilience, and self-love together, you build a mind that cannot be easily shaken by life's inevitable storms, and from that inner stability, genuine peace, clarity, and happiness can naturally emerge.